Hey there guys, and welcome back into It's a Sports World. It is me, Joshua Maker, and for those who were watching the TikTok the other day, you guys know that I was at Sun and Fun in Lakeland, Florida for 5 days just a couple weeks ago. Well, now I would like to cover more in depth just how that opportunity was and what I recommend for those who might want to go and have just as much fun as I did, because it surprised me with the amount of people, the excitement, the different types of environment that you are in. It's just a great time. Sun and Fun is the second largest aviation expo in all of the United States, and it happens in Lakeland, Florida. It is 6 whole days of air shows. You can go there for the expos where you actually learn about these new technologies being implemented in these aircrafts to make them safer. There was career expos for pilots who are up and coming, who just want to improve and they just want to have their future in aviation. And I met quite a bit of people that were just there for that on their own. Then you met the families that were there that were camping in their actual airplanes for the whole week to just enjoy the experience. They build a community there in Lakeland, Florida, in that Sun and Fun area. It turns into a blast with certain bars around the different place that you can find. They have great food, a little pricey, but we'll get to that one in a minute. But it's great, and it was 6 days worth, and it was a lot of fun, from military aircraft to civilian aircraft. It is anybody and anything that you can imagine inside of these air shows. Starting off with day one, now this was my spring break for my school. We had literally just a week, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take it. This is what I'm gonna do. Still ended up being a little expensive, but day one. So I ended up leaving my apartment and got to the actual air show quite early in the morning, something that would end up drowning me out for the rest of the day. But I got there at 8 in the morning not knowing what to expect. Now what I got though to see was really cool. I got there so early, I got to see Tyler Hubbard's band do their sound check, which gave me a little bit of some insider information on what certain things were coming and when they were coming. So I got that kind of from just watching them. But then I also, the moment I actually stepped right on Show Center, I got to start seeing all of these old World War II style aircraft being pulled in one by one, flown down, landing. I mean, it was really cool. At one point you looked up and you see warbirds from back in that World War II era at 10 apiece, flying in unison back and forth, and it was insane to see.
Now the Trojans, the Sagana TV-30 Epsilons will be coming along too, and the CI Marchetti, I think, at the end of the chain.
Something that I've never seen before, and I have been to so many air shows, it's to count, and I've just never seen something as interesting as those warbirds flying. Now the air show on day one was not bad at all. There was a lot of planes flying in, so there was more planes being taxied most of the day, which was really cool to see. I got to see F-35s up close, the F-16 up close, so all that was really cool. But we did get to see my favorite, which is the Heritage Flight, which I'm hoping to be showing you right now. The Heritage Flight is the P-51 Mustang, the F-35 in this case, and the F-16. All three of these showcase different parts in the United States history when it comes to different ways that the military has progressed. All the way starting from World War II to where we had the F-16 to where we're at now with our 5th generation fighter, the F-35. The most advanced fighter in the military, not just in the United States military, but in the world from what we are able to say. This flight, this demonstration is something I always enjoy seeing. I've seen it so many times, and it normally brings a tear to my eye every time because you just imagine the history that goes with it. Night one ended really cool. Country singer Tyler Hubbard, somebody who I really enjoy listening to, ended up finishing out the night. Uncle Kracker, he also was opening for Tyler Hubbard, and that was somebody who I don't know I would ever be able to see. So once in a lifetime type opportunity, it felt like, especially for the ability to also see some really cool air shows, really cool planes, and really cool people. So that was where I got to meet a lot of these different folks that I would hang out with for the rest. This is actually, though, at the end of this concert, I was tired. Like I had said, I had left my apartment really early to get there, and I can tell you I live further than you would really think. So the people that I met on that first day of the air show, that day two, I ended up going to get breakfast in the morning at the air show, because you can do that. It was all kind of part of it. And I ran into them, and they asked me, they said, Josh, where did you go? And I was like, I left. I went to my hotel. I was tired. I was exhausted. They were like, no, you need to come to the island the next day. And so more on the island in a minute, but let me tell you, that's where this whole entire week changed for me. But day 2 was filled with everything just as exciting as day 1, if not more. Most of the planes had finally arrived. Blue Angel number 7 made an appearance where he would pick up a influencer and a person of the media and flew them around doing tricks. So that was really cool to see. We got to see the F-35 it finally start to do a lot more maneuvers. We saw the F-35C and the F-35B, if I remember correctly. There was a lot going on. The F-16, the F-18s were there, and the Growlers actually would show up as well. So it was a really cool demonstration for the day itself, but day 2 was highlighted by the biggest thing of them all, the nighttime air show. For me, this was the first time I had ever seen anything like it, and I can honestly say that it was one of the most amazing air show experiences I have ever seen or had. Honestly, the biggest reason I wanted to do Sun and Fun was for this nighttime air show. When I saw there that it was a week worth of air shows, I was like, fine, I'll just do the whole week, screw it. But I was so glad that I did this because the nighttime air show was something that I didn't A, know was even possible, and B, just gives a different type of respect for every type of athlete that a pilot is. For them to fly in the dark of night with barely any light on and just have fireworks shot up in the air, having to basically dodge it and shoot fireworks out of their own aircraft is something I can't even imagine fathoming for myself. For them to have to do it and do it so successfully that it doesn't seem like there was a hiccup was amazing. Now, I will say there is going to be a video I'm going to show you here, and I would like to know if there is anybody else who picks up on this video other than it just being an aircraft carrier. It was really, really cool, though, to see. This is a life-size aircraft carrier I am showing you, which is crazy to think that they use drones to build out an actual life-size aircraft carrier from a distance, or so that's what they said on the video, or the announcers, who I cannot say that they were amazing the whole entire week. So I'm just going off what they said and what we have written down here in the notes that we are going back to right now. But the nighttime air show was amazing. I met some more amazing people throughout that week. Families were a big part of that nighttime air show, especially on Tuesday. I got to hang out with that group that I ate breakfast with, and then, like I said, we all went to the island afterwards. Now, that the way this place is kind of built out, you have Show Center, you have Island, you have Paradise City, and they built this kind of like little path and track around, so it makes you feel like you're in Aviation world, is the best way to explain it. There's planes everywhere. You don't see anything of the real world. There's nothing in the distance other than airplanes. So there's this one place called the Island. It's where the center stage is, and all I'm going to say about this place is it is where all the fun happens. It was a great time for an adult area. I can honestly say at certain times of that night, you will meet and enjoy some of the best entertainment you could imagine. I have some great videos. I'll show you that.
Thank you very much, y'all.
But the island and the environment that was created after the air shows itself to make you want to stay was enough. The biggest thing for me was that fact. After I learned about the island and just the people, and I started making all these friends, I never left the air show grounds earlier than 3 o'clock in the morning. I had a hotel, I had a comfy bed, but I would go home to that hotel, sleep for about 3 hours, wake up, get breakfast, and do the same thing the next day. So it was the environment, the community, and it was just built to be just a great time. And that was really when things kicked off for me, was during the night of day 2. After we went to the island, after we all had a great time, after I didn't get home till late, it was just an amazing group of people to just be around. And it was when I really started to feel like I was a part of this community that, honestly, I probably have no part being in. I'm not a pilot. I'm not anything other than somebody who just finds all of it interesting. And that was what made everything so much better. So me being from Annapolis, Maryland, I've seen the Blue Angels countless amount of times. I know their tricks by heart. I know what they're going to do, and I know how they're going to do it. And I can honestly say I thought I knew what I could expect from the Blue Angels, except this time I got something I'd never seen before. I got to see them do their circles. For those who don't know what that means, it allows them to fly out, find something in the distance, and say, all right, here's the point where I need to turn around, and then meet back up with everybody at show center. And to be able to see that and the way that they do that itself just shows how amazing the United States military is and how smart these pilots have to be to find these center points and to find all these different ways to make sure that everything gets done safely and to make sure that everybody gets home in one safe piece. To me, them doing circles was one of the coolest things I've seen, which is crazy, just because also at the same time as we're doing circles, you're also hearing from the actual announcers, number 8 and number 7 of the Blue Angels, who are sitting there telling you what these pilots are doing, how they're doing it. It was really cool to hear, and it was one of those once-in-a-lifetime opportunities for me, once again, because I had never seen that before, and I'm from Annapolis. I've seen the Blue Angels all but 1 year, I can honestly say, in a row. At that type of environment, I've seen them multiple times in several years. So I love the Blue Angels. I know them trick for trick. But to hear from what they have to do, and not just from the documentary that we all watched, or that I watched, I guess not all of us, but I watched, it's really, really cool to see how the United States Navy really prepares these fighter pilots and these pilots for these events and the different type of things that they have to go through to get ready for these events. Night 3 was where the aerial circus was as well. It was actually really cool to see. This is now the best way I can explain it for people who don't necessarily know. I'll show you a picture of the boat, and it's basically what it looks like. A boat, a big turbine on the back, kind of. Put a paraglider and you're off. But they strapped these things with LED lights. They performed and they did very cool maneuvers with them. It was really cool to see, and it was very interesting to say the least. All the different types of planes and pilots and everything that you can possibly imagine, everybody had it. Everybody was there, from biplanes to these type of planes, from seabirds to military jets. Everybody was there. It was really, really cool. Now, Thomas Matwood finished off the night at the island, like I had mentioned earlier. He played really, really well, and it was really cool to see. And we had a lot of fun. I'll show maybe 1 or 2 videos of that real quick. And then as we get ready, day 4 was the day that I actually ended up missing. A friend of mine called, said he needed some help with something, and it was kind of an emergency. So I jumped back in my truck, decided not to stay that day, and missed day 4, which is sad because a lot of those friends that I had hung out with for the rest of the week told me that it was the last day for warbirds, which I had no clue was the last day for warbirds, and sometimes we have to give up some things that we enjoy. Saturday and Sunday, as surprising as it might sound, were actually probably my 2 more relaxed days. I was told by those friends that you need to get your spot early and get there early. So we all got our spot at about 8 in the morning. I put my chair down and they said, okay, you can leave it, people respect it. And I did not actually believe people would respect it. They did till about 10 o'clock because you had to make sure you were back in your spot by 10. The airshow didn't kick off till 1. So we all sat down. Now, we were tired from the night before, as some of us, like I was saying, like me, did not necessarily get back to our places till late. It was a lot of fun, but we did fall asleep in all of our spots and were woken up, of course, by the good old F-16 fighter that just ran down the runway and woke us all up in one fell swoop. Everybody around us thought it was pretty funny. I will say that my legs are still healing as the sun just pounded down on my legs and they were feeling the pain. So it was a really cool Saturday and we had a lot of fun. Of course, at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, there was barely any room to move. It was kind of your last ditch effort for a couple hours. By 4 o'clock and the air show was coming to an end, it was so crowded from people coming in to get ready for the night air show, people there for the day air show, the people that were there for both the day and the night air show. So about 6 o'clock rolled around, we were all kind of like, all right, we gotta get out of here, we need to breathe for a minute. So we all left our chairs hoping that nobody would take anything, went back out, kind of got a beverage and got some food, and then came back to our spot to finish off the night. And what a great night it was. Another great aerial concert. Or I'm sorry, not an aerial concert, but another great aerial adventure of just the nighttime air show itself. That's what I was trying to say there. It was really cool. It was a lot of fun. That last Saturday was really fun to more just do that with everybody else. I captured more video there, but I actually enjoyed more of the moment like I wanted to on Saturday and Sunday. The rest of the week was kind of meant for content, as you guys got to see. But really, there wasn't much that I did on Saturday and Sunday other than kind of just be more of a relaxing environment. Now, come to at the end of the Saturday night air show, everybody kind of, except me, because it was my first time there, knew that was it. It was kind of it for everybody. Everybody went back to the island that night to have one more night of fun and just hang out. But at the end of that, everybody kind of said their goodbyes, and I was kind of confused, like, yeah, we'll all see each other. Like, yeah, but we won't really see each other tomorrow. So if you make friends at Sun and Fun, make sure that you understand that Saturday seems to be that last day for a lot of them. A couple of the people who I met who had flown in were gone by 10 o'clock in the morning. I did get there early enough to have breakfast with everybody one last time, which was really cool, which honestly is the best way to do Sun and Fun. If you're going to get that week pass, stay there for the week. Get breakfast. They have these different lunch sections around the area where they'll literally say, you donate $5, you get a whole lunch. That was the parts that made it worth it. That was the parts that made it so much fun. So a lot of these different places I ran around to on Sunday, I spent most of the day running to, saying goodbye, saying thank you to just all the different people I got to meet that were still there. A lot of the people around my age that I just hung out with and had a lot of fun with, they were all basically gone by about 2 o'clock. I finally got settled in. Of course, I had seen the same air show basically from the night before. So I was kind of more of just running around, making sure I got to say goodbye. One of the craziest things was the last person they got to take off out of there by right around 4 o'clock, is right when I kind of called it quits myself. I said goodbye to the person who I basically hung out with that whole entire weekend. She was absolutely amazing. It kind of explained all of Sun and Fun to me. Said goodbye to her, and then we all went on our very merry way. It was a great time. We had some people who got in their RVs, drove out of there. They had people like me who just reloaded back up their trucks and said, you know, we're heading back down just a couple hours away. We'll stay in touch. So it's been really cool to just have different friends in these different groups that I got to meet. And the aviation community itself, to me, showed that it was so cool. It's just a lot of fun. And it was one of those things where I cannot wait to hopefully be able to do it again. All right, guys, so thank you all for watching here. Now, those who did go to Sun and Fun, some of the people I met that might be watching this video right now, say something in the comments, say hello, and tell me about your experience with Sun and Fun. If you are seeing it, that's all I want to know, is how much you guys enjoyed it. Are you going to go again? And if you do go again, what are you most looking forward to? So for It's a Sports World, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Joshua Minker, and I will see you guys very soon.